#1 Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? Really quickly, was the intro song malfunctioning for anybody else or just us here?
All the audio sounds a little weird now, like there's static in the background.
Why? I
Can't hear you, Richard.
Oh, yeah, or you're choppy. It helps if I unmute. That was on me.
Yeah,
that's on. I don't know what's going on with my computer lately.
Technical difficulties.
You sound okay right now.
All right.
But the
I
intro
don't know.
was like whack.
Dude, I don't know. Like, it sounded fine on my end, but it obviously didn't sound fine. It's got to be something.
It was good backstage. It was just as soon as the intro music started,
it's got to be streamed
full retard.
Never go full retard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. I don't even know at this point. I don't know. I try. It doesn't matter. The internet hates me. I don't know. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The first Iron Age Nights of our second year. That's right. The anniversary for Iron Age Nights happened like a day or two ago, or is about to happen. But we did the celebration stream last week, and we're gonna have an awesome returning guest this week. So guys, for all of you who don't know, Iron Age Nights is the fantastic show that we bring you every single Friday, and we're going to introduce you or reintroduce you to a fantastic indie author, comic book creator, tabletop RPG creator, movie producer, video game dev. Like, those are coming. They're there. They're just not
very soon.
Quite. Yeah, very soon. They're just not there yet, but because video games take a while. But this week we have an awesome comic creator that we're going to bring to you. But before we get to all of that, and while I try to scratch my brain and figure out why my audio completely screwed up, Richard, how are you this week, good sir?
Oh, I see. You know what? This week was a little bit long, but it's good because I have supplanted chat in terms of priority. Yeah, we didn't even say hello to the chat, so I'm glad that everybody's recognized who's the most important around here.
I should have said hello to chat. Yep. I love you. Apparently, I'm more tired than I thought I was. Wow.
He's no longer Richard the King. He's Richard the Usurper.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so
great. I think I've only done that one other time. Chat.
It's been a good week.
Truly, from the bottom of my heart. Screw you, chat.
It's been a good week. We got things rolling with Anvil. I've got the final kinks with issue number 2 fulfillment ironed out.
You said kinks.
Yeah, right. And
I'm at the right show.
I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it is for somebody, but not me. Let me put it this way. This is definitely not my kink. Is dealing with the post office or government workers in general.
Not my kink.
Yeah. And so
I have one, but this is not it.
already we're heading right off the rails.
Oh, it's okay. Dojo's been here before. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, if anyone's going to go off the rails with you,
I'm fine with it.
But
God.
Yeah. Anyway, but Iron Age or Iron Age Media's September voting prompts are up. Go check those out if you want to go and support Iron Age authors who are submitting stuff for
Can you
free.
Drop the link in the chat when you.
Sure.
Here, I got it. It's fine.
Say no,
yeah,
Richard.
you got it?
Say
I
no.
got it. Yeah, I got it. It's fine.
Are you going to drop the vote one? The one that
No, just the IronAge.media because I.
Okay, you can do that
link.
one.
Yeah, no, it's the link that I have saved.
All right. Well, that's good.
I have a Word document with the links, and I just
there you
You
go.
should join me in making Royce's life more difficult and just say no.
Yeah. There we go.
So
that's
much.
the direct link to where the short stories are listed
proper
and voting.
link. Peasants like me don't have access to the proper links. I'm sorry, King.
Yes. Only anyway, never mind. And then AnvilMagazine.com, where you can buy the first 2 issues of Anvil and some Iron Age Media merch, as well as coming up very soon.
Oh yeah, you just launched merch.
Yeah, next week, thereabouts, we're going to have the subscriptions for 2024 up. So we got lots of things cooking, ads, all sorts of things. I'm trying to get ahead of the chaos.
I have something that the 3 of us will talk in the background, but I've got I may or may not have pitched it to a certain background helper of the channel earlier today, but I've got something I want to talk with you guys about. And I want to throw that out there because I'm just tired enough. I will forget by the end of the show.
Okay.
But yeah, you're talking about
Royce.
doing things. I'm going to talk about doing things.
That's Royce being ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not very well. It is actually something that I would not want to reveal until it is not just a working idea, but a ready to release idea. And this is something that would actually probably take me a few months to put together.
Project in hand.
And it is, yeah, it's just something that I don't know. It's something born out of my frustration. And I need to figure out how it all works together. But yeah, so this would be something like if I started on it today, getting the input from other people who know how to work these things better than me, at earliest, it probably wouldn't launch until next year. Now next year obviously could be in January. It could be in, but it's just, this isn't something that I'm going to say openly. I'm going to keep it close to the chest. But yeah, unlike when
you're just really antagonizing chat today, aren't you?
Yep. Yeah.
Whip them up
Well,
into a froth.
so
there's all these
I'm
things
not going to tell
about.
you.
We're going to ignore you.
So this is what
I tell you.
This is what I like to call giving chat blue balls. And
I love you, Chad. I care about you.
No, you don't. God.
All according to my plan.
No, you can stop. Maybe I should say hello to the chat. Maybe I shouldn't skip over them. Should I say hello or should I just skip them? Should I skip them? What should I do? No, I'll say hello.
You should say hello to the chat.
All right, fine. Well,
they are why we are
even
here.
Dojo was just like, yeah, we got to get it out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, over on Rumble. Yes, I did forget to say hello to the fantastic chat because I'm tired. I don't know why. I don't know. It's something about getting old or something I don't want to accept. I don't know.
Shut up.
Everybody's like, Royce, you're getting old. I'm like, dude, I'm not even 32 yet. Like, I'm not old. And they're like, yeah.
My stepson's older than you. Shut up.
See, Dojo is old. Anyway. He's like not as old as Herman P. Hunter though. Herman P. Hunter, that guy's like 120. Like, it's just man, it's like.
I mean, he doesn't really look over a day over. I'd say 93. Honestly.
Oh no, he's like, dude, he's a young 120. The Herman P. Hunter is a young 120.
Well-maintained hedge.
Well-maintained edge. Over on Rumble, we got Chatsu. What's going on, man? Garham over there. How are you guys doing? Hanging out over on Rumble. It's just the two of them. Just the two of them. Anyway, my horrible singing aside, Frederick Guimont. He says LGF, which was popularized by Evely Music on this channel. So most people would say LFG for like, let's fucking go. But on my chat, apparently it's let's go fucking, which is just sounds better to me. So chat, let's go fucking. Anyway, Horizon Talker, how are you doing? Maji Chan, she dropped in just to say hello. She was looking forward to Dojo Kun Comics, but she's got I believe she's busy tonight with work or something of that nature. Pritchard Pub, how are you doing? Evely Music, he's gonna be late. That makes him gay. Yeah, speaking of which, AS Bruner, how's it going, man? John Peter Presson, not even no, brain's not working. John Peter Preston, how are you doing? I'm not gonna words, brain. Just,
no, I'm curious.
It's not happening in my head. Swift Sword Rush, what's going on, man? James Craig, we are no longer bros. James Craig, we are no longer bros. You broke the bro code. We're no longer bros. I'm mad at him. I have to fight him on Twitter now because I'm mad at him. Garham. He's double dipping. What's going on, man? Chris M, how are you doing? Ted Cage, what's going on, man? Oh, Jamie Harbert. That is a name that I am not familiar with. Hello, Jamie Harbert. TJ Marquis, how are you doing? Oxen W, what's going on? Ram, what's going on? Ram, how are you doing? Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, a member for 1 month on the YouTube channel, says, looking forward to this stream with a member chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, dude. No, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I love Dojo. Love the hell out of it. By the way, and for those of you who don't know, we'll get this shout out of the way. Dojo does an absolutely fantastic live stream every Wednesday night. You guys need to go check it out. It's called Incendiary. Still to this day, one of my favorite conversations around pop culture happened on that. And it was the sexy versus sexual in comics. What I've listened. Dojo, I don't know why that particular stream spoke to me the way that it did, but it just because I've listened to a bunch of the other conversational topics that you've had, but that one there is just still peaking my mind. That was an unbelievable conversation. And for anybody who wants to get into your channel, I like, because it's my favorite conversation I've heard you had with the crew. I would say go check that one out, or you can also go check out the A Drink with Crazy crew over on his channel when we did the when we got absolutely slaughtered in the trivia night. That was not
crazy crossover. Yeah, it was our show with these guys plus Murph and Dirk. So so it was the team with the least amount of people that crushed everyone else.
Yep. Yeah. Not even
their nerd game was strong. That's
their
all.
nerd game was strong.
That's right.
Johnny Douglas, what's going on, man? How are you doing down there? Herman P. Hunter, the Lore Forge. Oh my God, he was able to stay awake past The Price is Right. It's awesome to see you, Hedge. Michael Harris, what's going on? Oh, he's gonna be so mad at me. Garham, stop it with that goat shit. Damn it, Royce. At least explain that it's about. Damn it, Royce. At least explain it's about the goat. No, I'm not going to explain that it's about the goat. That's on you.
Always.
We're no longer bros. We're no longer bros. Trippy Soul, what's going on? I didn't realize the chat jumped on me that hard. The Hedge is like, oh, it's on. It's on. Mr. And now I can go to the live chat. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, I would have some quippy thing about how you're going to rescue some poor abandoned story and that's been beaten and abused and someone. I'm tired, good sir. How have you been this week outside of the last 24 hours, it seems?
Oh, yeah. The last 24 hours have been a mess, but otherwise the rest of the week was good. Got a lot of work done, and helping people out has always really rewarding. But Yeah. The last 24 hours have been interesting for those who may not be paying attention to social media. My daughter and her friends were in a car accident yesterday. She's fine. She's resting in the living room, next room over from here. So, we're doing well. I just needed to get some sleep. So I slept most of the day.
Good. Good. Michael Harris, we are no longer bros.
Uh-oh.
No
are you just breaking up with everybody who goes on the GOAT platform?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one at a time, breaking up with the chat.
It'll happen. It'll happen. I'm no longer bros. We're just not bros anymore. Sir Ubison, how are you doing, man? It's good to see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to welcome back our guest. No, you supported it. No, you supported it, James. I have it on the live stream. You laughed and said you can't just get one, you have to get two. And so that was the point.
You've got to monetize your fight.
Yep.
Yes.
I am now fighting with James Craig. I'm going to monetize him. I don't know.
And Michael Harris, apparently.
Yeah, Michael Harris. He's like, just remember, you were born in the year of the goat. Fuck you, Michael Harris.
Take your beef to Twitter or Twix.
Swift Sword Rush says somebody's being a salty bitch today. My wife on Rice. Other people's wives are commenting on me now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll take what I can get, I guess. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a fantastic welcome back to an awesome guest. He's got another project he's working on. Very, very excited to have Dojo back. I absolutely love Dojo's channel. He's got a great live stream every single Wednesday. You gotta go check it out. It's one of the best pop culture discussion live streams out there. It's called Incendiary. It's over on Dojo Kun's channel. And I guess, Dojo, man, how you been, dude, since the last time we talked with you?
Well, talking about this week, as you've asked the other two on the panel, this week I've been on 18 different streams to show this project.
Man.
So,
holy shit.
Yeah, I took the week off in order to do that, because a lot of the streams I went on were in the middle of the workday.
Yeah.
So I had a whole bunch of vacation days, which happens to me almost every year. I've got to use them or lose them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to take advantage of this and spend this time on all these streams. It was great because it wasn't just over and over again saying the same things, because some of them had some great themes. One of them, for example, on Murph and Dirk, we talked about unsolved mysteries in our home states. And I had some doozies.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun if you can go check that out. But yeah, so wow, just life has been decided to kick me while I'm down. So yeah, or kick me while I'm busy. This year has been quite the roller coaster. Lost my dad in May, and then my wife's dad is in ICU now.
Oh wow!
Oh no!
So she's been out of town for week after week after week. She's been able to come home a couple of days now and then, which is great, because I'm like, hey, I miss her. Who's this? But her dad is recovering, but then it's a roller coaster kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
understood.
And so yeah, so my campaign for Projectile Reptile was I'm late. Let me just be honest with you. I'm late with that one. And we'll talk in a little while about why then am I launching another project while I'm not fulfilled that one. And that's a totally legit and reasonable question to ask. But I'm preemptively answering it because I know it would be hypocritical of me not to. Okay, because I constantly get on people who have unfulfilled, and they keep launching. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just crazy. So I have to explain why. And,
I was going to say, it's been a while since you've done Projectile Reptile, though. That was like last year this time.
That's right. Yeah, and so several things have happened, two of which I just mentioned, but also printer problems. It just...
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, right.
Imagine that. Yeah. Printer problems? No,
printers never have problems.
So one example, guys, I was ordering sketch cards with the Shifter logo on it. Now I know this is the one we're about to talk about. But I ordered the sketch cards with the Shifter logo, and I was going to send them out to some artists to put some sketch cards on the project. So this printer happens to be fairly local. It's close to where I work, but not where I live. I work about 2.5 hours away.
Right.
So I'm there. I go to the printer. They printed the logo on the wrong side of the sketch card. It's like, this is like one of the very easiest things you could have possibly done, and you fucked that up. Like, do they not realize that the artist needs to draw on the rough side, not the glossy side? So, yeah. She said, okay, you know what? That is a pretty easy one to fix. We'll have them ready tomorrow. Can you come back tomorrow? I'm like,
yeah, of course it's easy to fix. You use the same print and you go,
yeah. Right. But I'm like, no, I live 70 miles from here. I'm not coming back tomorrow. You're sending them to me. She said, yep, you'll have them early next week.
Oh my goodness, dude. All right. Okay. So let's talk about that for a minute. From legitimately every creator who has come out with a project, I think, with the exception of a couple, but I have heard Clownfish TV talk about this. I've heard Shadiversity talk about this. I've heard Richard talk about it. I've heard I think did LitDev, I can't remember if LitDev talked about it either. I've heard smaller creators talk about printing. What the hell is wrong with printers?
I know, it's your one job.
And it's
what you do.
and here's the thing: is it's not like this is an isolated issue. This is an industry-wide issue with printers. As many people, and it's industry-wide, worldwide. Like,
yeah. Well,
how? I don't know, because I've heard it from so many people. They have had to come out and they've had to apologize for getting things out late, and they wanted to be earlier, but the printers didn't. And then I've heard 3 or 4 different printers have changed ownership in the middle of a print job or at the beginning of one, or like, what is going on with printers?
The only other profession that you could be wrong this often and keep your job is meteorology.
I know.
Well, I have a hypothesis about this, which is that I think quality of any kind of service, basically just all professional competency, is dropping. And it's just kind of where you start looking that you start noticing it.
Oh my God.
You know, and
that's a good point.
I think it's across pretty
Garham
much
says,
everything.
or politicians.
Yeah. You get elected to higher office if you're wrong this often. But no, it's
the Peter principle.
Yeah,
the more
exactly.
you fuck up, the more you go up.
But it's one of these things where I think that a lot of longer lead time type stuff, like, you know, most businesses are not in the same kind of just in time sort of arrangement that small presses are, whether it be comic books or whatever else. And I think I was talking on Twitter. I had a back and forth with, I think, Immortal Rising and some other folks about, you know, like what does that just in time manufacturing get you? And, you know, is it that like Iron Agers, somebody needs to go buy a printer, like a print company?
Dude, it's getting to that point.
Well,
who was it?
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think you've talked about it. Paladin Dragoon has talked about it.
Well, you talked about it. There was somebody, I was in the, I think it was in the Gilded the other day. And somebody was mentioning is like, can we all just like pool our money together and just like a bunch of us just go in on a printer like together? Is that a thing? Is that
no?
Well, it was something of that nature, but like dude, it's bad. It's like
I just think that
when
now
Richard's
the labor market, the low cost labor market, you know what I mean? Like minimum wage labor is very difficult to find anybody who's even remotely good. So you have to pay more. So you either have to pay the printer more to get quality stuff, or and even if you do, sometimes like they just have high turnover, you know, like it's so common for people to just walk off of hourly jobs and just never come back, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think that we have like a countrywide labor crisis, and I think it's hitting us because we're the small fry. You know what I mean,
dude?
Yes, and the issue with, at least from our small pool perspective, the issue is that you would find that if we pulled a bunch of money together and bought all the equipment and had a location to put it in, and then had the manpower to produce, we wouldn't make any money. And eventually it would become unsustainable, because the time period between, even if you get, say, 100, which is very unlikely, but if you get, say, 100 people that are consistently producing year after year after year, there is a gap period in between each of those projects. And by cost of materials, which is paper, ink, and machinery, plus location,
Plus
unless somebody's
man-hours.
plus man hours, you can't sustain it just on that. Most of these printers print for corporations. They don't print for fiction. They don't print for comic books. They'll take the job because they want the money, but everything that they have is coded for a very specific thing. The machines, they have settings, and in order to switch from putting out, say, a handbook to doing a comic book on a specific type of paper, which means a specific setting for how it's printed on that paper, and it's shifting everything around. The idiot that's running the machine for them, that they're paying minimum wage, doesn't know how to do that. So they often screw it up, and then it slows everything back down. The other side of it is that small press is the highest turnover rate business. All the equipment that every small press uses, I talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, is wholesale purchased from another small press that went bankrupt.
Yeah, that's true. Well, because that's what you were looking at too.
Yep.
And
and my goal, what I kind of want to do is try and form a relationship with, like, my printer, for example. And I mean, he's been in business for, like, I don't know how long, but he's got stuff that looks like it's at least 15 years old. Like, he's been doing this for a while. And my inclination is, find somebody who is experienced and then go to them with a kind of group buying power,
that
and try
would
and
be,
figure out something to where you can give them an assurance. Hey, if you buy, if you spend the money on buying pallets of the kind of paper that we're going to use in comics, then and huge quantities of the toner and everything else that you're going to need to do the proper printing, color, and everything
plus
else,
binding and all
at
of
the
that.
beginning of the year. Well, this guy, I love this guy because he's very upfront. He's like, if you order more than 1,000, there's no way I'm going to bind it because it's not worth my time. It's easier for me to sub it out. Right. There's a binding shop that does nothing but binding, here in Houston.
Big bulk, that makes sense.
Everybody who's big goes to those people because they've been doing it for 50 years and they have the ancient, huge machines.
And who would fucking think about that? Hey, I want my book.
It's all this little stuff. So that's
what I'm saying. It's like printing is different than binding, and
we got completely off topic here. I feel sorry.
No, we were talking about what's going on with the printing world.
This
is not off topic, sir. This is not off topic, sir.
Yeah, the one thing that I did look at,
Dojo came out and was like, hey, why isn't Projectile Reptile fulfilled yet? And he's like, there's some issues. Part of it was the printing, and you know what? We've got to talk about this and shed light on them, because maybe there's a printer that pops by and they're like, oh, these guys are seeing the problem. I don't want to be part of the problem. And maybe that guy out there who just happens to pop by this channel, or maybe somebody who already watches this channel is a friend with a printer, who knows, and they can, hey, there are people noticing the problem in your industry, and then they can kind of point that out. And then maybe this conversation inspires the course correction with somebody, right?
I
don't think it's feasible.
What's up, Dojo?
I think what else it could do too, for whoever's watching the stream, whether live or on the replay, it'll help perhaps get the word out that when these small creators complain about the printers, number one, it's not just a shadow or faux excuse, but also two, that there's something to this. And I don't just mean they're telling the truth about it, but there are reasons that these printers are facing these delays. You know, what Richard and Daniel just explained may not be common knowledge. And I think that this kind of conversation really helps.
True.
Well, I have heard two creators in the last year that I pay attention to, and I obviously can't pay attention to everyone. By the way, guys, I'm dropping the link for Dojo's project down in the chat over on Fund My Comic, and we will get to that, I promise. But I've heard two people who have had issues with printers and get to the point where they were considering legal action.
Wow.
Like, no, I've made the deal. The ink is dry. I've paid you for the product. I want my books because my backers want my books. Yeah. And here's the thing. The creators that I'm specifically thinking of were a larger creator and a smaller creator, right? Like, so smaller as in and around my size, and then larger as in hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. And when you hear one person say they had a problem, you're like, okay, well, that's isolated. When you hear many people start talking about it, and a couple of those people getting to the point of frustration where they're like, here's the deal, you will get this completed or my lawyers will get involved. There's an issue with the industry in and of itself. And I don't, do we know any printers? Can we get somebody on? Can we, is that even a thing? Can anybody reach out to anybody who runs, I guess, a successful printing company who would not mind coming on and talking with us about what the absolute hell is going on with the printing industry?
That's a great idea. I'm going to think of steal that.
Maybe.
He's like, where's the
incendiary?
Incendiaries. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Does anybody know anybody who would be willing to come on, who's a successful printer, who they've seen the ups and downs of the industries, and who can tell us what the hell is going on right now with this stuff? Because it has been in the back of my mind. Like, I do trust a lot of the creators who've come to my channel, who've asked me to back their books, who've reached out to me privately. Hey, dude, I really like, I if you can back the book, it'd be wonderful. Like, I'd love a review from you. And I'm like, sweet, awesome, I'll back the book. And in the back of my head, I'm like, will the printer be able to work with them? Because some of these guys are already on a tight budget. It's not like money is infinite. We're talking about creators our size, and they're working on their first book. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, I backed this project, I might never get it. And not thinking that it's going to be the creator's issue, but thinking it's going to be the printer's issue. Kat Rocha down in the chat, she's talking about a bunch of problems that she's had with printers as well. Like, this is a big thing. Uh-oh, you guys got quiet. Damn it, we can't have 6 seconds of quiet. Hey, chat, what do you guys think? No, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's something that the wider world needs to understand about the crowdfunding world, about the about the distribution world as a whole. I mean, everybody can go to Amazon and click, but Amazon, obviously nobody is going to screw up an Amazon contract, right? So if your book is on Amazon, it's going to get printed, it's going to get out, and people will have that book within, the next week, right? But a small creator who's like, hey, I've got this bulk order, I need to get it out. It's like that's not a big contract to them. That's not
but there's a lot of minor moving parts when it comes to the crowdfund concept versus the standard system. Yes. And that's most presses work under bulk order. And with crowdfund, a lot of creators have a tendency to try to prepare for it, but not actually start the process until they have their funds in order. Whereas the original version, whereas the standard is that the companies that keep these businesses running are paying for this stuff in bulk at time of order, and then it's fulfilled over a specific period of time. So crowdfunder creators are doing it the exact opposite way of how most presses operate. They're like going in the opposite direction. And so there's going to be a conflict there. We'll use Eric July as the example with his pre-order thing. He had put the money forward, printed X amount, and then ran his pre-order and whatnot and got fulfillment going, and then had I believe he had to order a bunch more because of how big it got. He had a fundamental amount set first.
Yeah. With a contractual agreement that, it depending on order, like another bigger order could come in later.
Yeah. So part of the process with the creator system is what we're trying to do is find out how many we need before we make the order, which then is, it trips up the whole system.
Well, and it runs right back to the whole just-in-time manufacturing concept, basically. And
that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do. It's honestly, it's more expensive on a per unit basis, but it makes more sense in the long run of things because of, the income that's freed up or the money that's freed up. But one of the things I kind of wanted to rewind the conversation slightly, which was we're talking about like Print Ninja, and we're saying, well, Amazon as a good example. Well, Amazon actually is quite bad at producing magazines based on what I've heard. If you want to have them run actual like quality color magazines, I've heard that they are extremely hit and miss in terms of their quality because they keep buying up their competition. And one of the problems, I look at is, we can say one of two things. One is you can go big with Amazon or Print Ninja or one of these other ones who maybe they do produce good products and everything else, but they are the big, the giant Leviathan. If that's not decentralized at all, and I'm always in favor of that. I understand there's a lack of efficiency associated with that, but I'm always in favor of trying to develop some alternatives. And then on the other end of that spectrum, people will say, let's just buy a printer. Well, one thing I'm very like more than decentralization, more than anything else, I'm a big advocate of we need to make this something that you can make a living doing. If we want the Iron Age to succeed, if we want culture to change, we have to make it so that people can make a living, not just scrape by, not just find a few fans, but ultimately make a living doing these things. You know what I mean? And my worry whenever people say, oh, well, we should buy a printer, we should go in on this or whatever else, you know what I mean? It's like the assumption then becomes you need to give everybody a decent rate. And it's like, no, at the end of the day, you're obligated to put, bread on your table, And I think that there is a synergy to be found between those two. Obviously, there is always room for smaller competitors to be much more efficient than big ones. But you also got to make sure that you're accounting for at the end of the day, you're going to be paying people money and they're going to be making money off of you. And you should want that to be, you know what I mean? Like you should not want the people you work with to go broke because they're giving you such a good deal,
Correct.
So it's the whole thing is just, it's like chicken and the egg problem right now. But I think, I don't know. I think as things move forward, hopefully there'll be some discussion about like, I don't know. Hopefully some good printers will kind of bubble up to the surface. I'm hoping that I'm working with one right now.
Uh-oh, guys, we are scaring our chat away.
Matter of time.
No, we're not scaring them away.
Look at your super chats.
I am seeing the super chat. They're hungry. They're gonna go cook up some steak.
I know.
Well, that's good use of time.
No, but this is a large conversation that needs to be had, and I don't think we're gonna solve it tonight, but
No.
it's we got to do something. We've got to do something, but we could steer away from that conversation, but I wanted to have it because I've been hearing so many problems about it. So many problems with the printing issues. And honestly, it's a good conversation to have. But what's a better conversation to have? Dojo, you're working on a new book.
Yes. And I think you'll be particularly happy about this one, Royce, because this is an all ages book.
Yes. Dojo heard the call.
Yeah, that's right. So let me tell you a bit about how this came to be. This is an exclusive license with an award-winning novelist. So I'm excited about that just right out the gate, okay? She wrote a trilogy of books that she called The Healing Wars, which right there, the name alone is kind of like, what the hell does Healing Wars mean? Like, that sounds contradictory. It's because some of the characters in the story have an innate ability to heal people and transfer their pain into a blue metal. Those blue metal pieces can be then fashioned into weapons, and those weapons deliver their normal amount of damage and pain, plus all of the pain that was stored in the metal. So I'm like, that's clever as hell. I think that's a great idea.
All right. So let's go over here to the Fun My Comic and let's play trailer really quickly.
Naya is an orphan with a rare gift. Others with this gift can take pain from a person and transfer it into the cobalt blue metal known as pinvium. But Naya's gift is flawed. She can only transfer pain from one person to another. Orphaned on an island nation occupied by a conquering enemy and trying to locate her missing sister, Naya has to make sure they don't find out, or she'll be weaponized against her own people. Be sure to back Janice Hardy's The Healing Wars, Book 1, Part 1, The Shifter, from Dojo Kun Comics.
The artwork looks fantastic, dude.
Isn't he great? Yeah. I've worked with Zilson before. He did numbers 3 and 4 of Siamese for me years ago. So it's great to get back with him. We've got a great working rapport. And I've been saying this week. One of the things I wanted to mention about his ability is he can make these teenagers, which is what most of the protagonists in the book are. They look like teenagers. They don't just look like shorter or smaller adults. You know what I mean? Their faces have more soft features and they're more rounded. Just, he has the skill to make them look like teens, which is pretty important. Hail Tank Ferret, thank you. I appreciate that. So this story, Naya, as the narrator mentioned there, she's an orphan. She's homeless. She's got to keep her ability to shift pain from one person to another hidden, or they're going to recruit her for the opposing army who have occupied her country. She can't work for the Healers League, which is where most of the people with this ability work. And those kids transfer it into the metal, as I was mentioning before. She can't do that. So they would treat her like a freak, or, the army would grab a hold of her. So she needs to stay on the down low. This is a hero's journey story. She, is very meager beginnings, like I said, and a lot like the Hunger Games or Divergent, she steps up because somebody has to do something. And then she looks around and says, I guess that's me.
I love that attitude, though. I think a lot of people should embrace that attitude. Is anybody else doing this? Okay, I guess I'll do it. But that's really where the most innovation and the most inspiring things happen, is when somebody looks around and goes, anybody else going to do it? Nope. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to do it. If I'm going to be the only one to ask the question, I might as well be the one to answer it. That's great. I love stories like that.
So this came to be in a very coincidental, or maybe it's divine intervention. I don't know, guys. It's up to you. But here's what happened. My wife, Deanna, read the novels. She said, I know that you like books like Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire. She goes, I know you like those. And those are high fantasy, 800 to 1,000 page books. Mm-hmm. This one here it's aimed at young adults. So it's going to be a really quick read, but I think you'll really like it. There's a lot of elements in this that I think you'll find interesting. So she said, give it a chance. If you don't like the first one, I'm not suggesting you have to read the other two. Well, I finished all 3 within a week.
Wow.
I really loved the novels.
Wow.
Yes. They were a quick read, but I loved every bit of the world building that Janice Hardy does. She's good with even like nicknaming things. Like her character is going to transfer the arthritic pain from somebody into someone else, and everyone in their world calls it knuckle burn. And I mean, it's just, it's not something
really cool.
Yeah, it's not something insanely clever, but it's like, that's a clever thing to do, is to call it knuckle burn, because you know, pretty poignant. So she said to go ahead and read that. I did, loved it, and it just so happens that right after reading it, my friend Steve and I were talking. Now, I don't normally talk to him about all the books I read because he's got his own set of books that he reads, and it just so happened I just read it. So I said to Steve, hey, I just read this trilogy. I think you might like it too. It's a really quick read. He goes, oh, I know, I read it. I'm like, oh, you did? He goes, yeah. Do you want to talk to the author? I'm like, yeah. What? How would you arrange that? He says, I work with her husband. So, yeah. Now, get this, though. Steve and her husband both work for a software development company. They work remotely. Janice and her husband are around 1,800 miles away from me. So and Steve, he's local to me. So the fact that Steve knew her husband after I just finished reading I mean, what are the chances of these things? You know what I mean? It's like the odds against this were pretty high. So I said, yeah, put me in touch with her if she's willing to talk. Well, it turns out that not only was she willing to talk, but she's a podcaster also. She's got a show called Fiction University, where she helps people write their novels or write their stories. She talks about, keeping your tense consistent, the voice of your characters, and all those things. So when she got my pitch about making this into a comic book, she was excited. She said she and her husband are comic book fans, that maybe not fans like the 4 of us are, but fans enough that she thought this was an exciting idea. And so we hammered out a licensing agreement. And there's where I want to talk about why am I launching this before I'm done with Projectile Reptile. The licensing agreement, number 1, is part of the goal that you see. That's why it is where it is. I need to pay for it. And number 2, it has an expiration date. So if I don't,
why it's so long.
Well, what I'm saying is if I don't get on this, whether I'm done with Projectile Reptile or not, this could expire. You know what I mean? So this agreement that I've got, she's great. I think she knows about my excitement and passion for making comic books, but she could easily say at the end of the expiration date, if it's not done, well, Brian, you sounded excited, but apparently I got to take it somewhere else to get it done. I don't want her to do that. I want this to come out from Dojo Kun Comics. So,
okay. So really quickly, because I scrolled this just briefly a minute ago, the comic panels and puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
That is, I'm not saying it's never been done before. That is brilliant. That
all credit to my artist.
Brilliant.
I told him, well, I write my comic books as if they are a script. Okay. I've been a singer and an actor since I was in the 6th grade. So I approach writing comic books as a script. It looks with the blocking, and I'm telling him exactly what camera angle it should be, et cetera, et cetera. But having said that, I give my artist quite a bit of leeway because after all, he's the artist and knows these things pretty well. He's been at this a while. So I said, if you have a better idea and you think that something would look better, different angle, different cinematography, however you want to do it, let's talk it out. Most of the time, he draws it exactly the way I wrote it. But for the few times that he's had a better idea, he's truly had a better idea. And when he shows it to me, I'm like, oh, damn, that's better than what I wrote. Yeah, go with that. So we've got a great rapport, and he does a great job. And those puzzle pieces, like you said, I had just said that she needs to go from merchant to merchant. She's looking for work. Right. She's going along the docks. And he said, oh, I got an idea. Very good.
I'm already sold on picking up these books. They're short read. I again, something I want to pick up, put in the hands of my kids. Young adult, my oldest daughter could probably handle this more. Well, I mean, my kids can handle things that are much beyond their years, but that's just, I'm either a bad father or I'm a good one. Don't know which one yet. We'll find out here. We'll find out here when they get on their own. But no, the knowing that you've got a timetable on this, which is why I was confused. 357 days to go out of $5,000. And now that you say that there's an expiration date on this, I'm like, I get it. That, and just the way that this came about, again, whether it's divine intervention or whatever it is, or dumb luck, sheer dumb luck. It is something to push for. And that's, I mean, again, it already sounds like a project that I mean, the books are out there, so I would love to go pick up the books for my kids.
Yeah, that's something I want to say. I know that I said that this trilogy was written with a young adult audience in mind, but honestly, having read them and gone through the process of distilling it down to the first 92 pages of the first novel are represented in this first issue that's 28 pages long. So it's almost a 4-to-1 ratio, novel pages to comic book pages. So having done that and gone through the process, I'm comfortable telling you, Royce, that a 7-year-old could read this and it would be fine.
That's awesome.
So
I happen to have one of those.
Oh, okay. So
awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
just one. The others aren't 7 anymore. They're not.
Yeah, they do that. They age.
They do. It's weird how that works. It's weird.
I know, right? Yeah. I look at my kids who are both in their 20s now, and how did that happen?
I look at my oldest. My oldest is up to my shoulder now, and I'm just like, just yesterday you were here. You just. I mean, I have pictures of me in my leather jacket, passed out on my recliner with my little one in this arm, and it just
dude. I find it very odd to tell you I have a daughter-in-law. It's like, what? I have a daughter and another one who's soon to be engaged. So it's like, this is crazy to me. I knew it was going to happen. It's just hard to grasp.
Yeah. Well, and that, talking about kids and how just awesome they make your life and all that. It is such a motivation for me on this channel. And because I think all of us are motivated by how bad the modern mainstream is. And for me, it really started pushing me into this space, because when I was younger, I was not an indie guy at all. I didn't even like to read. But long story there, but I was the guy people were like, oh, dude, you've got to check out this book. I'm like, I'll check it out when the movie comes out. And they're like, no, this author's not big enough. They're probably not going to get a movie. I'm like, guess I don't need to check out the book then. Like, I was that jackass, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
You elitist, you.
No, I didn't read at all. I was a pleb. Oh. I was, if it wasn't in the moving pictures on the TV screen, I wanted nothing to do with it. I hated reading as a kid. Aside from a couple of books, I hated it as a kid.
So you were the one that read "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret," right?
No, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Actually,
oh, dude, I guess I made you myself again. Never mind.
A lot of
moving right along.
I read a lot of older books. The school that I went to had a lot of older books and stuff like that, and most of them were just trash. Favorite book, probably still. Well, I guess technically my second favorite now, because the first favorite's over here in the case. But when I was a kid, my favorite book that I ever read was Call of the Wild by Jack London.
Oh, okay.
It's still to this day. Favorite series of books that I had to read. And again, I read because I was forced to, and it was very, very, very much, I would get in trouble. I would get grounded if I didn't read, and I didn't like it. Reading was not my escape. Reading kept me from my escape, which was going out in the front yard and swinging a stick outside and pretending to fight whatever I was fighting that day. But the book series that I love, the book series I loved was the Boxcar Children. For those who've read that, I actually turned Daniel onto the Boxcar Children. But I was not that guy. And getting into this whole thing with, Eric July, he does his book and everybody's super hype, and and then Critical Drinkers talking about doing a movie, and then Clownfish TV is releasing a book, and then all of a sudden, Drunk 3PO is doing a book, and then everybody's doing a book, and all these creators that I'm following, I'm like, man. And then I'm talking about stuff, and then other authors are like, hey, I'd really like to be interviewed by you. And I'm like, what the fuck, me? And I'm like, it's one of those things that just kind of happened. It's like, well, wait a minute. You guys are offering something. And one day it clicked into my head. I want better media for kids. I want my children to grow up with stories that I grew up with. I grew up with some really cool television shows and stuff. I grew up with, the Power Rangers at the time, and like Digimon and the Justice League animated, the Timber, the Bruce Timber. God, he's got two first names. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Bruce Tim.
Yeah, Bruce Tim. He's got two first names. I hate that so much, but I grew up with
Billy
that
Joel.
universe.
Billy Joel.
Right. Right. But it hit me one day talking about, as we were talking about the kids, I was like, I want my children to have as many good characters as I had. I'm not seeing that in the mainstream. And as a dad, I've always said, well, as a dad, I don't want my kids to not see me read. I want my kids to see me read. And whenever you put that out there, God was like, hey, you want to read? I'm like, yeah, no, that'd be great. It's like, awesome. You're going to interview authors for as long as I tell you to. And I'm like, what, God? And he's like, don't question me. Oh, all right, I'll start interviewing authors. And that's just kind of how it ended up. But it really, people go, why? Oh, you talk about the kids. Yeah, it's a huge motivation. And it doesn't matter if your kids are a day old or if your kids are 100 years old. If you've got something that when you look at them and you go, they're the reason. That's the reason I do what I do. That's the reason I push as hard as I do. It really does change your mind, and it changes your perspective on so many different things. And it when you say, this is a 7-year-old could pick up these books and read it. I will be talking with my wife about looking into these books, because my children, and they deserve this only because they are my children, and I would expect any father to say this about theirs. My children deserve as many good characters as I had when I was a kid.
That's right.
And I would expect Richard to say that about his kids, and you to say it about, even though your kids are older, I would expect Daniel to say it about theirs, about his. But yeah, it's our children deserve the absolute best, most magical childhood that we as parents can provide them with, while still preparing them for reality. Because the magic of being a child only lasts so long. And as a father, I need to prepare them for reality, but I don't want that magic to leave too soon.
Agreed. So Dojo Kun Comics has some adult labeled books. This is for mature audiences.
Yes.
It didn't go heavy that way, though. One of the books, for example, has one panel of nudity. But I'm going to stop that and only go for like the superhero. When I do the superhero genre, I'm not going to worry about, like you talked about earlier, sexy versus sexual is a big difference between the two. Having said that, and I do agree that there is a time and place for the TNA books. I know that there are customers out there who that appeals to, and some of those can be made with irreverence and fun, and that's fine.
Well, it's like the AR-13L. Did you see the AR-13L project? The little mermaid?
Yes.
It's just fun. It's it's just fun. We've had the crew on. They're great. And there is a place for that. You're right.
However, there's also a niche of young adult or all ages books that we can meet and still have fun and still make the stories interesting for literally all ages. These books are not just for kids. These books are written, the ones that Janice wrote are written such that adults enjoy them too. And the comic books are going to have the same quality that you would in any of those others. They're going to have the same level of skill as far as writing, if I can pat myself on the back, artist, coloring, lettering, all of that is going to be top notch.
What do you think? This is your show?
But I already did. So
well, I guess I can't take it back.
No, it's already recorded.
Okay. I love that you get my humor that damn fast. Other people are like, wait, what?
I've been around enough.
There you go.
So yeah, in fact, I'll tell you this, guys. I've been collecting comic books for 50 years. So I have read the gamut from what I consider to be the bad writers all the way through the very gold standards of writing. And I try to emulate those that I enjoyed most in my formative years. So were there great writers since those formative years? Absolutely. And there were some way before those too. But the ones I always point to and try to emulate are Marv Wolfman and Chris Claremont. Those two in their heyday had the best characterization skills. They were able to portray the characters as relatable people, despite the fact that they had these super fantastic powers. They were still relatable people who related to one another because they had individual personalities. And that kind of thing is very important. And you'll find that in what Janice writes as well, even though she's not writing comics. That's what I look for in my entertainment. It's what I look to emulate when I do my writing. So, it's up to the individual interpretation of my backers as to whether or not I even come close to that mark. I hope that they enjoy what I do, and note that I try to do the same. I've been at this a while too. Although I've been collecting for 50 years, I've been publishing now for almost 10. Before I found the crowdfunding universe, if you will, I was publishing for about 6 years. I was publishing. So yeah, I had 11 comic books on Dojo Kun Comics. And I worked for 2 small press publishing companies before I started my own. So having been at this then since 2010, roughly. So this is one of the first times that the book that I'm publishing isn't part of my connected superhero universe. This is, as I said earlier, a licensed project. So these characters exist outside of the Dojo Kun universe, but I'm absolutely proud to have this as under my banner and hope that the backers will see the value in this and help us get this made.
It is amazing to see people cross, genres from, like you say, the type of YA novel, and that has its own connotation to it. But to see that person interested in the comics, to see a book come to life and jump off the page. And I'm sorry, this artwork is unbelievable. That's why we're going to scroll through it again. And then to know that somebody who, 1, read the books, 2, liked them enough to want to talk to the author, and now you want to put the same care into this, I will call it the translation of the book, right? Because comics is just a translation in a different medium. Right. But you want to put as much care into the translation of the book as the original printing of it. And you can hear that when you're talking about it. You can hear in your voice the justice and honor that you want to do to this story that you were introduced to.
One of the great things about this project is that Janice herself is my editor. So that's part of our agreement. Yes. So she has final approval on the art. She has final approval on what goes into the book. And honestly, there was a scene where she's like, that's not really as important as this other one I'd like you to keep instead. no problem. I was like, absolutely. I want to keep this with her IP, with her vision intact. Oh, you know what? If you could stop the scroll for a moment and go up to that cover there with the sword, right there. That one there was drawn by Renzo Rodriguez, and Renzo,
that's such a great cover.
He really loves to draw the sexy ladies. Okay, mm-hmm. He drew this character very voluptuous, mm-hmm. and I said, this piece of art is fire, dude. However, she's 14. He's like, oh.
Was there always a chicken there?
There was always a chicken,
okay.
But the chicken was differently placed, so he strategically moved the chicken.
Was it nestled?
And he turned her body slightly so that it wasn't a full-on ass shot. Okay? I'm like, now you've got the idea. This is supposed to be a 14, maybe 15-year-old.
Okay, one thing, this is just a personal gripe of mine. It's just a thing with me. The stomach line, like the ab line there.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. Who was I talking? I was talking with the Lord Otter this last week, and we were talking about like the Frazetta girls and how Frazetta girls were drawn. And they were women, but they were, full-figured women, and they didn't like that ab line there with the muscular. I don't know. That always throws me off.
No abs for Royce.
I would say if you scroll up a bit, there is the cinematic cover that looks like a movie poster.
This looks really good.
No abs can be seen.
No. It's just that's just an art thing with me. That's just how I am. It's just it's, I don't know. I've always viewed it like that. I don't know. I'm just me. But
you are entitled to your thing. Absolutely.
Well, everybody's entitled to. I don't know. Maybe nobody's entitled to their thing. Who knows? But regardless, here he did a really good job adjusting from what you said the original cover was, which was
he did.
Because I could, with a creative imagination, one could understand. Well, he turned the legs, he moved the chicken, like I mean,
right.
And but this here, I mean, taking in the rest of it, the detail of the sword, the detail of the pant leg here, the way that the stars and the moonlight work, and what looks to be constellations in the night sky.
Right.
I mean, the fence in the background, the detailing here. And what's so great is that the detailing of the trees, they're trees. Yeah, there's a fence. But all of a sudden you scroll up into the night sky, it gets a lot more detailed, a lot more accentuated there. That stuff there catches my eye more so than the foreground picture, because in my head I've seen a lot of artwork, not as much as you, and not as much as a lot of people here. But I've seen a lot more in the last year than I'm used to seeing. And one of the things that always makes you go, oh, the foreground image is really good. Why? And it usually is the background. Usually. Okay. And so when I say, look at the constellations in the background, look at how the detail of the constellations, then back to the trees, then the fence, it's not so there. Like, you get a very, and then you have more detail here, and how the background surrounds. It's just, I like that. I like when people, and then obviously the coloration differences. That's what makes the foreground pop to me. And that's what this artist, in my mind, did so very, very well. Like, this is, you said Costa? Is that who you said it was?
The cover artist on this version is Renzo Rodriguez.
I'm sorry.
And the colorist on this cover is Josh Rodriguez. Oh. No relation.
Oh,
but Josh will be the interior colorist on this whole book.
So that's where we're seeing this artwork here.
Yeah. So if you appreciate the colors, then that's Josh's work there. And he's very good at setting moods and tones. And when things need to be the focal point in a panel, I think he does a great job doing that.
Yeah, he does a very, very good job.
Now, the interior artist is Zilson Costa. And what he does, if you'll stop right there, what's interesting about these pages, or these panels, I mean, in the one in the bottom middle where the two girls are hopping down off the wall, the faces aren't super detailed and all that, and they don't need to be because they're off in the distance. But in the upper right panel, his ability to draw, number one, like I said, the fact that they look like teenagers, and number two, their facial expressions captured exactly what's going on very well. He's so good at expressions that, when you say a picture a picture tells 1,000 words, that's good because we got a couple novels to cover here, and I need the pictures to tell an awful lot of the story because I don't want this thing filled with exposition.
In the top left here, I don't know if people can see it here. He still took the time to do expressions from a faraway shot. Like, you can still see expressiveness on the faces here of these two young ladies in a faraway shot.
He's also good with body language, whereas one has her arms folded because she disagrees with what the other one's saying, and the other one's shoulders are slumped almost like in defeat.
Yeah, chin, the face is down. Sitting very much in kind of a defeated. This is really, really good.
So the time period that this is set in, guys, it's a fictional world, but the time period, if I had to compare it to like our own world, I would say this is like right at the end of medieval times, at the beginning of the Renaissance, like when the Renaissance was happening and the Knights Templar were sort of falling out of favor. That's about when this is happening.
I'm interested to discover why our main character's clothing is radically different than everyone else's. And I know that is a detail that people are going to have to buy the book to find out.
Interested in that too.
Yep.
I caught that immediately. I was like, that's something that I would very, very much like to know. And I got to get those links down there, guys. This project looks really good.
Raving Dad Gaming asks, why exactly is she holding a chicken? Not a bad question.
Well, just needed to come up with a quick way to make her less.
No. The chicken actually plays a part at the beginning of the story, and that's one of the things I did with these two covers. This one here that you're seeing on the left side there is like a cinematic movie poster. That's the look I was going for there. The other one that Renzo did, I specifically asked for a scene that's on the interior. It drives me nuts when there's a scene on the front of a comic book that appears nowhere in the book. You know what I mean? Unless it's cinematic or pinup style, I'm okay with that. But if there's a fighting scene or an action scene or whatever, that doesn't
most
appear
men are
anywhere.
Okay with pinup style. What?
Yeah. Well, yeah. 14. She's 14.
I wasn't referring to this, but
but if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the first scene in the book. When I put the pages together, I decided I was going to show the first scene just as a sort of as a teaser. So that right there is page 1. So the chicken does play a part in the story.
That's awesome. And now there's a chicken. The girl has a chicken. And now I think of a
and
game
nobody is choking it. I'm just saying.
No, I was gonna. No, good sir. I was gonna. No, I'm actually gonna go with you guys. My brain just went to a game that I used to play a lot when I was a kid, which was.
There should be a goat.
No, there should not be a fuck. Don't start that shit. They haven't said anything yet. Damn it! And
look what you did.
No, I was going to say just from a game that I saw when I was a kid. It was a Chicken Chaser.
Oh,
you ever played Fable: The Lost Chapters, or just the first Fable game? Anyway,
so would you be all right with going over the tiers that are available?
Yeah. I had some questions. What I was going to try to do, and then they started mentioning goats and.
What's that, Richard?
The $100 tier. You have a 3D printed sword, I think, right?
I do.
I was going to ask if you had it on you, but I assumed you did. So I don't know if we want to.
If you want to embiggen me.
Here, there we go.
Embiggen. I stop using big words. My brain isn't. Right.
Whoop.
What the? Whoa.
I was trying to solo.
Richard.
All right, there we go.
Okay. So as you can see, the character who wields the blade is named Danello. So this is Danello's blade. The stand and sword, they're pretty big, as you can see. The sword has awesome texture. If I put it real close to the camera, you can see the texture on the sword.
That's awesome.
And I love the red and black filament that my printer's using. I just the way it comes out, it looks a little imperfect, but it's shiny. I just love the way this thing looks.
It looks like a dirty copper.
He said, if you want, I can paint it. I'm like, no, I don't want you to paint it. This looks awesome. So that's the 3D printed sword in the top tier that Richard was mentioning. That's the $100 tier. My printer's willing to print 10 of these for me. So it's a limited edition. It takes 16 hours to print each one.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
That's
awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, Richard's not paying attention. He didn't want me to do it.
Did you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
He literally did the finger. He was like, "Hey, like, think." No,
I alt-tabbed to look at chat for 1 second. You guys throw me under the bus.
Why are you alt-tabbing to look at chat? You should.
Because RH Snow showed up.
Hail.
And so,
do you not know how?
Hello,
to pop
Queen.
Out chat yet? Do you not know how to pop out chat? They've been here for over
but I'm
a
on
year.
one screen, so there's only so much
You
room.
can don't even give me that.
Let's not derail.
You don't even want to know how much I've got going on one screen. 17 different things on one screen, and Richard's like, "No, dude, I can't do it on one screen."
Hey, be nice.
Trying.
A lot of bitching in this episode.
I know.
Am I going to have to separate you two? Don't make me turn the car around.
I will turn this stream around right now. Oh, shit. Sorry, Richard.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's mad.
Okay.
I've just been brought refreshments. That's awesome. See?
Refreshments.
Good to have a good woman in your life.
Yeah. So, I did want to go over the tiers really quickly.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Because one thing that caught my eye, which is something that my family, specifically because I have 4 kids, I was like, wait a minute, why is this so inexpensive? The Shifter coloring book.
Yeah. 22-page coloring book.
Here is that alone is worth the price, because my kids love, especially my daughters, love coloring. Help my wife, when she is just like, I need to chill. The children have been in. Sometimes my wife will look at me and she goes, I'm going to go up to the room. I just need to chill. I just need to be alone. The children have been children today. We have 4 children. My wife homeschools. She's around the children a lot. And she's like, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to lock the door. I'm just going to chill. My wife, she'll sometimes just get a coloring book just so she can just do something to just clear the mind. This right here is something I think everyone in my family would love. And then Mia,
fantastic. So you're going to buy 5 of them?
Cool. I'm going to talk with my wife about it. I still have 4 children. You have any idea how much 4 children eat?
Deanna and I have 5 boys.
Okay, so you are well aware. Yeah, apparently they eat as much as a village in Africa. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. Right. But after my wallet recovers from the monthly food bill, this is going to be on the radar. But let's go back here to the first.
Yeah, so within my comic, as you put the tiers in, unfortunately, you can't yet, they're working on it, change the order of the tiers. So they're going to appear on your tier section in dollar amount order from lowest to highest. Yeah. So the Making of Ash Can is the first one you see here. It's a 20-page book that has all of the original sketch of the character, then the inked sketch, and then the colored. So there's all of that there. There's the chibi characters are in this book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So this book here is fun. I always appreciate the making of, behind the scenes kinds of things. And like we were saying earlier, do what you loved when you were reading comics. The things that got your attention, the things that you love. So this is going to be the size of the 90s or late 80s, early 90s ash cans, because I love those things too. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is. Like you mentioned, the next one is a $10 coloring book that features the same cover as the main book does. Mm-hmm. Next up is the main book. So this here is the comic book itself with the cover by Zilson Costa, recolored by Don Edwards. So the first version of this, the colors were too muddy and dark. There's a little bit of a dark tone to this, but Kiko, man.
Yeah.
He's preventing me from being racist.
We'll get to those. Okay.
So this cover was recolored by Don Edwards. Now, Don is fairly new to the indie circle, but doing a great job with a lot of different people helping their projects and launching his own book this month on the 25th. So watch for that on Bancroft's. He's going to do a book called God's Eye Omega Mission. So I'm kind of touting that because he worked on this project for me, and he's a good guy.
May I?
Very good guy.
Can I briefly interject?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out a clever way to be like, oh, Michael Bancroft had you on last week, but we're not good enough, so we have to get like the sloppy seconds. And I was like, no, that makes Dojo sound really bad. Like, that's not good. I was trying to figure out a clever way to be like, he launched on a much better channel than mine, and now he's worked his way through the good channels. Now he's slumming it down. I could not figure out how that was going to be my
that's
promo
about right,
for this week.
Boys. You should have fired that one off.
Well, if I could have figured out a way to not make Dojo sound like a whore, I was going to do it, but my brain was not firing on all cylinders.
He couldn't come up with it because maybe he is.
I was going to say it wouldn't have stopped me, but
I mean, 18 streams.
Yeah, dude gets around.
Dude gets around. Yeah. If I ever get invited on the show, have you met Dojo? Yeah, I've met. He's been here too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that he's spent all his energy on the better ones, he comes home to us lazy folk down here.
Take your penicillin, kids. Take your
to rest.
Oh God!
Crash on the couch for a couple of days.
Tim Allen. So Royce is sloppy seconds and not Dojo. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's how I should have said it. That's how I should have said it. Damn it! Why didn't I phrase it that way? That would have been really good marketing for this. I suck at marketing. Okay, sorry. I had to interject that because you mentioned that you were on Michael's show and like.
Yeah.
And here's the bad part. Last week, I knew you were going to be on Michael's show.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to be there. And I still sent him the invite to be on like Friday show because I totally freaking spaced because I was so focused on like our 1 year show.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait a minute. He's like, oh no, dude. He's like, oh dude, I totally can't make it. He's like, I've got this other show going on. I was like, no, that's totally fine. And then like 2 days later, I was like, wait a minute. I know exactly why he can't make it.
Yeah, guys, I launched on Friday the 13th. So either that's brilliant or incredibly bad. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't have frigatriskaidekaphobia, so I think we're okay.
There you go.
Okay, we're going back to this because that's a word I'm not even going to pretend to know.
We'll frigatriskaidekaphobia. It's the fear of Friday the 13th. See, if you only had the fear of the number 13, that's triskaidekaphobia. But because you're adding the fact that it's Friday the 13th, and Frigga is the Norse goddess of Fridays, it's frigatriskaidekaphobia.
Hey, look at that beer.
The more you know.
The more you know. All right, let's get back in.
All right, so the next tier is the Renzo Rodriguez variant, the one that he cleverly changed for me. That's down a little ways. That one's $18 because I got to pay Renzo. Still, though, I feel that since this is 28 pages, the $25 price point's a bit high. So I went down to $15 for the main book and just $18 for the Renzo variant. I think that's palatable to more people, I hope.
Okay. And maybe this just comes from me not buying comics as a kid because I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that most comics now are being criminally underpriced, potentially even in the indie space. And I think that because You look at man hours put into it. You talk with people. One, there's writing. There's conversations going back and forth. I mean, a lot of these are not coming together overnight. They're not 1 week turnarounds. $1 a page, I don't think is bad. Now, I know that it's been skewed a long time because Marvel and DC have kept their comics just criminally underfunded. And at one point when they were selling 1 million or 2 million copies of a book, it was sustainable there for, well, actually, no, it wasn't, because they were still going fucking bankrupt in the 90s. But does anybody else share that sentiment at all? Does anybody else feel that, and it's part of our times, right? The times are getting tough. We are in a recession. I get that. But I do feel that some of these books are underpriced.
Well, when you're talking about the indie sphere, what I would say to that is, in addition to the fact that we're producing these books, crowdfunding is its own sort of animal, because we also have to, well, we don't have to. A lot of us choose to produce other tchotchkes that go with the book, like the stickers, like the prints, like the ash cans, like the coloring books. I could go on and on. There's bookmarks, there's magnets, et cetera, et cetera. And to put all those together, even though I'm not the one creating them, that takes some time with contacting all these vendors, back and forth, getting the samples and the print, the print previews. And you get the magnet in, and it's like, that's not the right size. So you got to deal with that. And like the sketch cards I talked about earlier. So a lot of these things, there's an awful lot of work, and the creator wears an awful lot of hats. Now, with somebody, with me, I'm just a writer, hashtag just a writer. A lot of people say, quit saying just a writer, because the writing is a pretty big piece of this too. But with some creators, they have the uncanny or, fortunate ability to also draw it. I'm super jealous of somebody like Bancroft, who can put to paper the story he thought. You know what I mean? I can put stick figures on there, maybe a little bit better than stick figures. I can do like a storyboard that gives the artist a little bit of an idea. It's not so bad that they can't tell. But really, when it comes down to it, I need to hire an artist. So now there's conversations going back and forth with an artist, then a colorist, then a letterer, then the editor. So there's so much that goes into making these things that I agree that $1 a page is worth it. Now, also, too, keep in mind that when you're backing a crowdfunder, you're backing a project, helping this project come to life. You're not actually buying a comic book. If you go to a comic book store anymore, you'll find comic books far less than $15. Let's be honest. The thing is, those companies have already paid for the whole production of all of that. Okay. They also have licensing agreements with the people who make movies and everything under the sun, underwear, mailboxes, lunchboxes, you name it. They can put Spider-Man on anything. That's what really pays the bills. Not the $5 you're paying for the comic book. So those of us in the indie sphere, when we ask for crowdfunding, we're truly asking for the crowd to fund the production of the book. Now, some creators are fortunate enough that they can pay for it all beforehand and then ask the crowd to help them recoup their cost. Not all of us can do that.
And I think both of those are actually valiant efforts. Like to say, hey, we've already paid for it. If you'd like to get it in your hands, and I think that's fair. And for somebody who's like, hey, look, it's on paper. Here's the proofs as what you're showing. But to get it in your hands to make this a thing, we need some help with the initial funding. I think both of those are fine, as long as you're fulfilling on those things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And because I feel like it's getting better, but I heard years ago there was a big problem with fulfillment with a lot of people, and that put a lot of people off.
Some people worry about that, and I know why. I'm one of the people who have several campaigns I backed in 2021 that I still don't have. So I understand that some people are making that a concern, but you said earlier I can't pat myself on the back, and to that I say tough. I'm going to. One of the things I wanted to mention is, for some of us creators, this isn't how we make a living either. This is our hobby. Would I love to do this for a living? Like Richard mentioned earlier, 100%. This would be awesome. If you can do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. So I mean, if I could do this full time, absolutely. Yeah. However, as an anti-money laundering special, fraud examiner, internal auditor, it'll be a while before this can replace my income.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
why don't you put those skills to use in other places?
Like?
Well,
bookkeeping.
You got to have a market for it. You know what I mean? Like, so don't get me wrong, Dojo. I love you, and I love what auditors do for the industry in general. But individuals don't love auditors. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you've never heard that before. But
yeah,
it's not like
individuals could love auditors.
You don't. Could I could like Dojo. You can come over to my house. I'll make you dinner. We can hang out. But just
well, here's the thing.
I'm afraid if you start nosing around,
are you trying to get a free book? Like, dude, you're whining and dining.
No, and then it's gonna be like, oh my god, I have to fix this.
When I say I'm an auditor,
I fix it. It's like admitting that you want to accept that pain is very.
When
difficult.
I say I'm an auditor, a lot of people automatically assume I'm a Fed, an IRS auditor. I am
any kind of auditing.
Well, I'm a
any kind of
auditor.
auditing can be painful.
So if you are doing something untoward in your home or on your taxes, I won't know. So
I wish
that
I could cheat on my taxes. That would make things a lot
easier.
You
don't. No, you don't wish that.
Dude, there are so many rules. Like, you don't even have to cheat on your taxes. You just have to know some of the rules, and then
the state of Texas guessed wrong about how much taxes I should be paying, and then was like wanting to fine me because they guessed incorrectly. And I called them today. I was like, well, what is this? They're like, well, yes, you hit quarterly reporting, but we automatically switched you back over to monthly reporting because that's what we want. And I'm like, well, anyway, it is what it is.
The reason I bring up the fraud examiner thing, it's not a flex, but what it really is to let people know that I need to be above board and transparent and ethical, because if I'm not, I can't become a grifter in this circle. Okay. If I'm not, I can jeopardize 5 professional certifications. So it behooves me to make sure that I stay professional, even in this hobby of mine, so this will get fulfilled.
Totally get it.
This will get fulfilled. There's not a grift. You saw some of the pages. There will be all of the pages.
Well, on that thought.
It's going to challenge me.
Richard.
Yes.
Good sir, I think that you are about ready to call it an evening.
Yeah, it is my bedtime.
I need to take just a moment. So Richard, I'll say bye because I'm gonna go do the thing that hey, look at that beer. I'm gonna go do the thing that you do when you had.
He's now done with the beer that he's been consuming.
Oh no!
Time to break the seal.
Far from being done with the beer that I've been consuming, but
you're done with the beer that you've already consumed.
There you go. Yes, I'm going to. I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go to the bathroom. Richard, I'll see you later.
Good night, Richard.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna be peeling off. Thanks for coming by. I enjoyed talking to you, and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you.
We need to get an article about it up on Iron Age Media.
I love that.
It has been busy, so I've got it saved here in my list of things.
Whenever you're ready, hit me up.
Okay, I'll drop you a line with things. And everybody, thank you for joining me tonight. I will be streaming on Sunday on my YouTube channel, which I'm not going to link. You can figure it out yourself. And if you want to pick up Anvil or some Iron Age media merch, check out anvilmagazine.com. So thank you guys and have a good night.
Excellent. Hail.
Good night, Richard. Yeah, I am taking the route of making sure my first comic issue of G Sedai is completed before I start the campaign, because I've done one campaign for a book signing thing on Fund My Comic. So I want to establish that sort of rapport of it's here, it's done. Now it's just a matter of, support from the community to keep it going. So the proceeds would go to issue number 2. Excellent. And I kind of wanted to make the comic become self-sustaining from that point on, that those who want to have the comic book are supporting the next one coming out, as opposed to trying to recoup losses or something. Yeah.
Right. A lot of people are taking that route.
Yeah, I think it's in some ways it feels, I mean, not to say that crowdfunding is disingenuous in any way, but in some ways it feels more earnest to say I've already put all the work in. Now I'm just putting it out there for you who may enjoy it to be part of keeping it going. Well, if you like it, you keep it going.
It's like Rice said a little while ago, and that both of those are valid and reasonable takes on crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, I think, is going through a bit of I don't know if it's growing pains right now or what, but there's a lot changing, I think, in the crowdfunding realm.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, I think that I've heard more and more people are saying that, what if, and somebody has said this to me, what if, Dojo, you didn't worry about all of those other magnets, bookmarks, etc., and just produce the book? Because there are plenty of people who only want the book. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I feel the same way. I get this box of stuff and I think that they look cool and I really have a great time opening it. But then what do I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because, where am I going to put stickers?
Right.
I mean, I have a couple on my laptop, but I don't want to make it look like a Pinto, with
exactly
bumper stickers on it. So,
and that's the other, that's like published, like print fulfillment was kind of the same thing. And I think there's a lot of parallels between the print fulfillment system that came out when independent publishing started with KDP and things like that, where there was an expectation of bulk order first. So you had to buy 100 copies.
Yes.
Instead of just doing print on demand, it was you had to purchase 100 copies and store them somewhere and send them out, or keep them in an Amazon warehouse to be instantly fulfilled. Crowdfund sort of has that same protocol, I guess. But back then it was okay, well, if I order 100 books, nobody buys them, then I have a giant box of books that just sits in my space and right. I can't get rid of them. Yeah, it's the same thing with all those, with the tchotchkes, the fun things that you add to it. It's like, okay, I could order 50 t-shirts to put up on a crowdfund as an add-on, but if nobody buys the t-shirts, I've got a box of 50 t-shirts that I got to figure out how to sell.
I am actually a proponent of just put the fucking book out.
Yeah,
you want to do a couple of print, you want to do a couple of different covers, and maybe you get like a high level artist that really, really big name recognition, and it costs a little more to have him do a cover. Right. And you do a variant cover because, hey guys, I was able to lock down this artist. I'm okay with that. A different book, but just the book. I can't wrap my head around the idea of all of these different. I guess the only other thing that, and it's just for me, that I think I would be okay with in like the crowdfunder for like the bundle pack or whatever. I mean, so would be like a poster and a t-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. You hang up a poster in your house, in like your computer room or in your entertainment area. You have people over. Oh, hey, that's a really cool poster. Where'd you get, or a lot of people love wearing, t-shirts or and hats.
Yeah.
Stickers and a bunch of stuff like that. For a comic book specifically, because we're not going to like leaving, because we've talked to some tabletop creators and some card game creators, and they've got other things that kind of go along with that type of project, but I really am in the space of just release the book. Just give me the book. And I don't understand the I guess the crowd part of the crowdfund of like, well, so I was at like, if I ever released a book, which it's not in the cards right now, and it's not something that I think about. I'm fully devoted to doing this promotion here. But the thought crossed my mind. It was like, well, if I did this, what would I do? Is like the book. And people are like, dude, well, like, what if you hit this tier? Like, you're gonna get the book. Well, what if you hit like what if you hit $20,000? You're gonna get the book. Like, it's guys, it's like, what if I walked into a gas station and I gave I put M&Ms on the table and they were like, yeah, the price for the M&Ms is this, but if you pay me $20 for the M&Ms, I don't know, get a Kit Kat or something else off. It's like, guy, like, you're paying for a product. I don't understand this idea of, if we hit this goal, now I, as the creator, have to come up with some other. Can we not just like the signed book? I like the signed book.
About stretch goals.
He's talking about stretch goals. The idea of stretch goals is interaction with the supporters. So the idea of a stretch goal is that if we reach a larger point, some extra thing is now something that you get as a rarity. It
incentive to get to the stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here's my stretch goal. I ever come up with the book. Here's a stretch goal that I'll buy. You get one. You get one. You will get one stretch goal from me if I ever came up with a book or a crowdfunder. You're going to get the book. And then if I hit a certain stretch goal, I don't even know what that number is. We will do a behind the scenes DVD of the conversations, of the artwork being developed, of the meetings that we're having. Bam, package, wrapped, DVD, book. Here you go.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about extra content? Now, sometimes I see creators will do a supplemental book because now it's more comics.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't. Not as part of the same campaign. Just sell the, like, I want fans to just get the book. Just get the book. Just buy.
However, just a few minutes ago, you appreciated the idea of adding a coloring book.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do appreciate that. Well, and like I said, with posters and t-shirts and stuff, I like the coloring book idea because, but again, that is very specific to my family. I have 4 children.
Yeah.
Talking with a lot of people out there, there's a lot of people out there be interested in the book. They're not going to buy a coloring book. They don't have kids. They're single people, right? I'm becoming a niche market here. Because how many 32-year-olds do you know, or 31-year-old or whatever, that have, 4 kids who, like I'm in a very, very different market for what I'm asking for. And I recognize that. It's part of the reason that I don't mesh with my generation very well. But again, I can appreciate certain things while still saying just the book. The book's got me interested. I just want that thing. But the stretch goals and stuff, I don't understand that.
It's interesting to hear that take.
To a certain extent, I can agree with them, but at the same time, in my opinion, if you have extra things that you can utilize to get more attention on what it is that you're trying to put out as far as a project, like behind the scenes stuff, that the idea of the behind the scenes DVD conversation thing, that makes sense as a stretch goal. Doing chibi stickers as a stretch goal, not so much. That to me, that's like checkout counter candy. It should be there to begin with if somebody wants to pay the extra buck for it. It doesn't count as a stretch goal at least in my mind. Yeah. So I kind of get what Royce is saying, but I also agree with Dojo. It's a little odd.
I don't mind
like stuck in the middle here.
No, I don't mind merch for the stuff. I just crowdfunding. And again, guys, I'm new to this. Like I
got to get you on Incendiary so we can fight about this.
I'm ready to go. As long as you don't mind.
Bryce will fight about anything.
As long as what?
As long as you don't mind if I rant and rave, and because I will, and yell. I have to be able to yell.
I got to see you go up against Peter.
I don't know.
One of my co-hosts, Peter Orchard.
I'll do it. I'm down.
He will.
And again, this is just kind of a newcomer to this space, and everybody knows. I mean, dude, it's so weird. I've been thinking about this because new people are constantly coming in, and some people are like, "Hey, where did you get your start with other guys?" I've always been in this weird space. Like I'm like halfway in between normie and nerd. Like I consumed a lot of like the cartoons and stuff. I had friends who read the comics and stuff. And when I was curious, I called my friends and I'd talk and they would educate me about what was going on in the comics. That why don't you just read the comics? And I'm like, because reading's for nerds and I'm not as big of a nerd as you. Like legit, the reading thing when I was a kid was not even for comics and superheroes, was just stuff that I loved. Like it was bad. Reading was made to be a chore for me as a kid, and I held on to that for far too many years. It's one of my biggest. It is one of the few things I would change in my life, and I would, in fact, one of the only things that I would change in my life is letting go of that sooner. But I, like it'd be funny, like the new, like back when the CW was releasing semi-competent, comic book, superhero shows. My dad would be like, "Oh, well, this is interesting." And he go, "Hey, Royce, who's this character?" And I'd pop my head out real quick and "Oh yeah, he's actually a villain. He made a couple of appearances." I knew the history of the character, never read the books, but I was educated. That's why I was saying I'm a comic book student. I'm not I'm that puts me in sort of a fan area, but I'm more of a comic book student because I learn about them in the same ways that I would learn it. But I've always been in this weird area. So coming into this into this space, I still kind of have a lot of that half nerd, half normie mentality, and I don't know how to understand some of it, such as the stretch goals and such. And I think that it probably works to my advantage because like you said, I have my own unique perspective on it because.
Right.
In this space, you either get nerds or nerds. Like you get there's not a lot of normies in this space. Let's face it.
No.
Like I said, me kind of being in that weird area that I'm in.
But normies is the broader market you want to try to tap into.
Yeah,
it is.
And maybe I bring some of that. Maybe I bring some of that normie or enough of that normie perspective. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm terrible at both. I'm probably terrible at both.
I'm hoping to reach the normies that liked Janice's novels that might like to see it in picture form. I'm hoping to get their attention. I'm hoping to get other people who read novels to say, "Hey, I didn't know that novels are adapted into comic books. That's kind of neat. Let's take a look at that."
It doesn't happen as often as you would think it does.
No, right? It was surprising to me when I learned that happened. I'd only learned a few years ago that big novels out there were translated into comics. Like I didn't realize that somebody had done Lord of the Rings in a comic form. I didn't know that because again, half normie, half nerdy here. Like there's certain things that I knew. Like I can tell you that I can tell you a lot of stuff about like Star Wars and like the extended universe before they wiped that out. I can tell you a lot about that. I know there are certain characters that I really loved in the comic book. Funny. I've always, I could tell more about like DC characters than I can Marvel characters, even though I actually like the older, we're talking about older DC and older Marvel, even though I liked, I actually like the way that the stories are told more with Marvel characters, but for some reason I learned more about DC characters. I don't know, but I have an idea, and it's that idea that I need to talk with Daniel and Richard about, and I'm also talking about with somebody who's helping the channel out quite a bit. But I haven't
happen in our quarterly, biannually.
It will happen by our
centennially meeting.
It's our weekly meeting that we schedule every few months. That
may or may not happen until the following year.
We have had 3 weekly meetings this year.
This year.
And one
It's
of them
true.
was because I literally told these guys, make time this afternoon. I need to call you. And they were like, I'm like, give me a half hour. And they're like, okay. And that was one of them. I had to bully these guys. Yeah, we were like, yeah. Oh, no.
Bully me into it.
Yeah. Well, when Iron Age Nights started, we had this great idea. We were going to have a meeting every week. We were really going to be on top of it. We were going to talk about the show.
Absolutely professional.
It was awesome. It was going to be great. And then like 6 months went by.
Totally professional.
We did one meeting and then 6 months went by and we had another. But hey, dude, we squeaked another one in there. It was awesome.
We absolutely prepared for this show.
Yeah. Hey, Royce, take a look at Kikaman's idea.
Yes.
That is, I mean, at first,
the latest super chat.
Yeah, at first when I started reading it, I was thinking that no. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, hey, that's not bad.
All right. So should we just go to super chats? Do we just want to go to super chats at this point and talk about that?
Yeah, might as well.
Here, let me get that link for this book down in dude, the artwork looks so good. I love this idea.
We didn't even finish the tiers.
I know. The show. Welcome, guys. If you want to finish the tiers, go buy the tiers, guys. Seriously, I do. My biggest hope is that we get backers for everybody. Like, and by the way, every dojo, share this on Comic Shop Wednesdays, please.
Mm-hmm. Please
share this on the Comic Shop.
I drop it when you ask for people to drop their links in. I try to make sure that I'm in there. I might not get there fast enough though. You might already have 30 or 40 in your thread.
Regularly we're at 60 now. We are in the 60s. It's actually one of the reasons
projects out there.
A lot of projects. We have some fans out there that they like to drop. They like to drop because they're fans. They want to read stuff. And we had some people dropping 3 or 4 or 5 projects. And I finally got to a point because it's on a Wednesday night. Guys, my alarms go off at 3:30 in the morning. So I try to cut it at 9 p.m. Central, my time. So I did get to a point where I was like, guys, here's the deal. For the fans out there, I'm just going to say, everybody, you share 2 projects, right? And some authors want to share multiple projects as well. So I'm like, authors, your 2 projects, share yours or share somebody else's. Or if you're like, hey, I've already shielded my stuff enough, or you can share 2 others. But I kind of had to make that rule because it was getting to a point where it's like there are so many projects, and if it keeps growing like that, which I foresee it growing, it stayed stable for a little while, but my channel does the stair step thing, right? It goes and then it stays for a little bit and then it jumps and then it'll stay at that for a little bit. Well, we haven't hit that next jump yet, but when I started Comic Shop Wednesdays, we were getting 20 projects. Now we're getting 60. Mm-hmm. It's a lot, and I want to make sure that I can share. And guess what? People show up with their wallets on that one. I have had people reach out and they're like, dude, they're like, when you do these shows, they're like, I see it in my sales, and that's my goal. That's what I want to have happen, because a lot of people don't have places to go to do that, you know. And I want, and so but no, share this in Comic Shop Wednesdays. And I say that because as the guy who puts on the show, I can know about a project. I can tell you guys, if I like this project enough and I'm talking with the author on Friday, I'll probably pick it on Comic Shop Wednesday. Well, Royce, you can't do that. Fuck off. Yes, I can. Unless something overtakes, like if I go into Comic Shop Wednesday with, I'm going to put that, unless I see something that makes me go, wait, like it's going to have to be pretty strong. But share this. And now having this interview with you, I can talk about it with people, and not just your little blurb that you're going to post about the project you're working on, but now I can elaborate on that for you and help, because this is something really, really, really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This really is, man. And it sounds, I mean, the fortuitousness of how all this came to be. Don't fucking start with me, Daniel. But it just seems that, for lack of a better term, fortune favors the bold, and you were bold on this one. It sounds like so. But yeah, let's go to super chats and
super chat time.
And do those things. Super chat time, guys. So get them in where you fit in, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm supposed to be a YouTuber and be like, yeah, send me the super chat money. But I would really rather you guys go to fund my comic and fund the Healing Wars book 1, The Shifter, because I would rather see that money go there. So guys, I love it if you send in super chats. I always appreciate it. What I appreciate more than you guys sending me money is you guys sending the guests that are on our show money to help fund their project. So go do that thing.
Support the Shifter.
Thank you. Yes, guys.
Support the Shifter.
I like the sound of that. The alliteration is helpful.
You should steal that. You should
go for it.
Already have.
Really give it.
Support the Shifter. I'm gonna let people know you stole it every time. Every time I use that. Support. All right. Crusader Sarson for $2. This is a while ago. Says, if you want funny stories with printers, get Kursova on. Oh God. My throat got dry all of a sudden. Hey, beer.
Hey, look, beer.
Physical failure.
Yeah.
First we have mechanical failure.
Technology for that one. I went to talk and my larynx were just like, nah, bro. And I'm like,
the Shifter is so good, he's all choked up.
No, there's like a tickle like right here. I don't like that. That's an odd feeling.
That's a clip right there. Royce's, yowl of discomfort.
There's already many clips.
Hedge. There you go.
I'm not even going to respond to the hedge right now. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $20. Thank you. Hopefully Garfield's Bizarre Adventure is still here. Man, thank you so much for the $20. Yes, I said a long time ago that $20 gets the applause. Why? Because it's an arbitrary number. It's my show. And what is that old song? It's my party and I'll cry if I want to. So you get the applause. But no,
whatever's going on with your audio, man, we could barely hear the applause, and then you were cutting out while you were talking too. It's weird.
While the applause was playing.
I think there's a driver's update. I need to go see if
you're clear now, but we could not hear the applause.
It's either a driver's update or a firmware update. Gonna start punching shit real fucking soon. Hey,
you do not have the newest patch.
Oh, dude. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $20. Dude, seriously, $20. Thank you, man. That is $20 is a lot of money, man.
That ain't cheap.
All this printer talk is making me hungry. Here's 20. I'm gonna go cook up some steak. Attaboy. I hope that you put a big, fat, juicy steak in your mouth for me. Wait, what? That sounded... What?
Phrasing.
Moving right along.
You're like, this will be funny, and then you get... Oh, no. That was not... That was
a bit...
Hey,
gay.
Beer. John Bernuke, this is not a super chat, but I caught this in the chat. And as I do, if I catch things in the chat, I do try to catch some good ones here and there. John Bernuke, I guess we could always find a way to make personal printers somewhat better so we aren't relying on someone else, but I don't know how you would go about that.
Oh, so print it ourselves and then saddle stitch it ourselves, or saddle staple?
Well,
yeah.
So here, when he put that, this was my thought. It would have to be somebody who would have to have multiple small profile as in size, small profile printers that could handle the various different projects, and you would have to have one set up for like novel size. Getting going. Like if I am going to go out tomorrow and I'm gonna I'm going to move things around, and I'm going to have these various different printers that can handle what I need handled. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call somebody and say, hey, I need bookbinding. Here are these sizes I am going to work in for novels, for comics, for tabletop handbooks, for pulp, right? Let's get, here's the standard sizes, because again, we're talking, if I'm going to try to put something in my office that's going to be able to just go, right? I'm going to have these 5 or 6 printers here. They're going to have to be highly efficient. Okay. I'm going to be able to get all of these printings done. All right. And then I'm going to have to be able to take those and then have a binder, somebody that I have now contracted with, who's probably on the smaller front as well. And then I say, all right, come pick them up. They're going to have to be within a close enough distance so I can physically hand the stuff off, because I am not mailing that, right? Hand it off. They go, they bind. All right. We make one final transaction back to me. We check quality, and then we send those out. But we are talking, I mean, in the day and age of the technology that we have, I believe it is possible, but I know what printers like that, what printers that can handle that load would cost, and they're not cheap. I mean, we're talking machines that stand up to here minimum. And then you're also going, again, if you want them specific to each project, so you're not adjusting settings all of the time, I think it's doable. I think a startup could potentially pull it off project by project, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Well, what I was thinking as you were describing that is, you were saying that you would need 5 different printers for the various kinds of projects that you have. Maybe you start
for efficiency's sake, because then you could be doing a comic, a novel, a handbook all at the same time.
What I was thinking is you could get 2 that could handle comic book size and be even further niche than that, and say, if you're putting together a novel, I'm not your guy, but if you're creating a comic book, I'm your dude, Mm-hmm. So if you were to pick, 2 of the same printer that could handle comic books, you could have 2 projects going. But and yeah, that would be even further niche. But I think there are enough comic book projects out there that would keep you busy.
You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong.
Here's it.
I see that though. I do.
There's more to it than that. The main factor is material. It's the paper and the ink and the various inks, because some projects are in full color, some projects will just be black and white. But either way, I think the average, like if you were to do this on a standard industrial print, black and white printer with a toner cartridge, I think the total is roughly 300 pages per cartridge on a standard industrial printer. So if you're printing books, most books on average are about 300 pages. Some are twice as much, some are 3 times as much. So you're burning through cartridge after cartridge on individual projects, and those cartridges are not cheap. That's part of the problem, is that in order for it to be a sustainable business model, a small press is actually going to charge more than a large press or a print-on-demand system.
These printers that don't do cartridges, but they actually have the tanks that
the reservoir.
The reservoir printers make it better, but not perfect, but better.
But you also really, who's going to be able to afford that? That's the thing. It's either a larger business that has, for all intents and purposes, subsidized this particular department, and they're making their revenue from something else, or it's a small print press using lesser equipment that's going to charge you more for production in order for them to even continue to exist. Otherwise, they're going to end up going bankrupt, and selling it to somebody else is going to do the same thing.
And let me see if I can't come up with my multi-million-dollar idea, and then
Right.
maybe I just open up ADWC pretty. I'm thinking of things. I just need to find
I've been working on it myself slowly but surely in the background as a side project. And the most sustainable way that I can see to do it is essentially time sharing a press, which is I pay someone else's business to come in for X amount of hours and run my stuff. That's the simplest way to pull it off.
So you own the stuff,
yes,
but it sits dormant until you say, all right, I have this many.
Even
wow,
it's almost like a rental system. Actually, it's more so. There's
but you're
one
renting
in
the
New
labor
Jersey.
instead of renting the.
No, I'm renting the equipment. So
I'd
be in charge of the labor myself. I'd have to bring in my own staff on their off hours.
I would almost rather just own the equipment if you could, and then rent the staff who knows how to run it.
Yeah,
skilled labor equals more than. I would not want just some randos coming in to absolutely fuck it up.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we'll get specific so it makes sense. There is a press that I am in contact with in New Jersey.
Yes.
And they have all of the equipment. They have all of the materials.
Yes.
So what we're talking about doing potentially, we have to hash out the details, but potentially is I come in, say, on Saturday and Sunday, and I run X amount of pages using X amount of materials, etc. on Saturday and Sunday with whatever staff that I decide to bring in. If it's just going to be me there all day, whatever. If it's going to be me and two other people, whatever, I pay them separately. But that at the end of that weekend, after I have to account for the material that I've used from their press and pay them for that, plus a surcharge for using their equipment, basically.
You had mentioned, you kind of said the timeshare idea, and the thing when you said that I had in my mind is you pay them X amount of dollars and say, I want this many days a year dedicated to my printing.
Yeah,
and then, but you have to schedule it out. You obviously, we will schedule it out, right? And I will, if I have to cancel, obviously, I have this many days to let you know that I cancel.
Right.
But you go in, you say, here's this amount of money to pay for this many days a year, right? And I can only have 2 consecutive days in a row. Because you don't want to tie up a printer if they've got large contracts, right?
Yes.
And so then you say, okay, so I have purchased 20 days from you, which is roughly 10 weeks worth of printing time, because 2 days per week. And then the project gets done, and you say, okay, looks like the project is going to fulfill where we've hit our end goal. We're going to conclude here. Let's schedule the first printing run, the first 2 days of printing, however many weeks away, like what you guaranteed you have now. And then, but you do the timeshare. You've already paid for the days of printing. Now it's just a matter of scheduling. Is that even a business? Is that even, but scheduling and material. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like you've already paid because you already know your material cost, right?
Sort of, yeah. There's leeway, but I get what you're going.
But what I'm saying is, okay, let's just say I know I've got this book, this paperweight, this size. Here's the details. We've rulered it out. We've done the sketches. We know it's this big, it's this thick, and I have paid for 20 days of printing. Is that even something that a printer would entertain?
This one is. I'm not saying that it's something that every small press would, but this one is. That's why I'm talking with them about it. And at least it's I don't know how profitable it's going to be. until it's something that's tried. It's one of those things where you have to kind of experience it to really understand if it works, and compare and contrast with just going with someone who's already doing it and just paying them to do all the work.
Well, timeshares suck when it comes to your vacation homes because nobody fucking does it. But timeshares of equipment could be beneficial if it's a money-making venture for you.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at as a possible thing, at least to get the ball rolling on Whimsyland Press. But you know, we'll see. It's a long-term project. I'm in what we'll call general negotiation with this particular company. I'm not sure if it's going to pan out or not, but I'm working on it. Yeah, it's just one of those things because it's such an unknown territory that, and I can't really afford to say rent a shop somewhere local myself, like open up a storefront and build that sort of thing out.
Dojo, what do you think?
Well, I think that the timeshare idea has some merit. I hesitate to say that's going to work. I think it's going to take Daniel going to give it a shot first to see what happens. But
So Daniel, we will succeed or fail on your success or failure. No pressure.
Yeah, we'll be watching you closely.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I will step out of the way.
2024. Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I'm not going to catch you. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm sure you'll step out of the way.
Hell yeah. It's okay. I will, however, pour you a scotch when you get back up because you're going to need it. Kikomon, member for 12 months. 1 year milestone? Show me, show you. Kikomon. Yes. Yeah, this would technically be the anniversary of when we started Iron Age Nights. We decided mostly because we completely botched our scheduling, but I kind of like the way we did it. We closed out the first year instead of doing the, hey guys, it's a new year of Iron Age Nights. We're like, no, we're going to close out this year. And next week we're going to open up a new year with a creator. And I actually like that format a lot better. So Dojo, you're opening up the second year of Iron Age Nights. So.
That rocks.
Your episode number 1, version 2.
Volume 2.
Right? No, 2.0, bro. Episode 1, 2.0. Kikomon for $2. Don't say colored pages. It's pages of color.
Nice.
Since when is Kikomon the PC police?
What I love is that's the same fucking thing. Yeah. If you come out and you say colored people, it's the same as saying people of color. You're just putting an of in there. And nobody gets it. Well,
you know what? Too, I have a color. It's beige, but I have a color.
I don't know. This is my color. I wear black. That's my color. Kikomon for $2. How about you buying a goat? No. Yes. Weird silence. No, I'm not buying a goat. At this point,
that's right. He's buying 2 goats.
No, I'm not buying fucking 2 goats. That's why Craig and I aren't bros anymore. I think he left.
He's right. He's buying 3 goats. You see how this works?
Daniel, I swear to holy hell.
You need to stop objecting, apparently.
This has gone. Here's the problem. This goat thing, it didn't just stay on YouTube and Twitter. It has gotten into my personal life.
Yes.
There are now people that we know personally. The people who happen to like the area where we keep our chickens. Yeah. They're sending my wife pictures of goats that she can adopt because they're like, oh no, goats would be amazing. We wouldn't have to mow the grass down there. We wouldn't have to worry about the weeds. The goats will just, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
it's true.
Like, I'm not saying it's not true. I've had friends of mine, dude, I drive by a goat farm every day. I can go pay $20, bring you a goat home right now. This shit has gone way too the fuck far.
So what you're saying is you need 4 goats.
God damn it. Kick-a-mon for $5. You can also offer things that you have accomplished while still working on the book. But I agree, buying something accomplished is more attractive. I think that's when we were talking about the stretch goals and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Kikomon for $20. I believe this is the one you wanted me to get to. Kikomon for $20.
Yep.
We can't hear it.
Your snippets aren't working.
You cannot hear the cheers.
No.
Nope. It's just it like cuts in and out a little bit, so we hear like
we hear little squeaky noises.
What's wrong with that audio channel?
I don't know. 6 seconds of dead air.
So let's not worry about solving that now.
Well, the problem is that concerns me because there could be this soundboard was a gift from a friend of mine. Okay. And if it's what I think it is, it's actually a problem with the board.
Boo. That's not good.
Yeah, that's called warranty work. Yeah. Which means audio quality might suffer here for or it's just StreamYard.
The outro is going to be interesting.
Yeah, right.
Let's get to that super chat though.
I hear it fine though. Why? All right. Sorry, I'm just worried. It's an expensive piece of equipment that was given to me as a all right. Kikomon for $20. I don't know if that is possible, but can you start with books at 20, for example, and each stretch goal reduces the final price by $1 to $2. Get some investment money early and give it back a coupon code for the next book.
That might
that could work.
That has merit. Hey guys, if we hit this stretch goal, you'll get if we hit this stretch goal, every backer will get a $5 coupon code.
Oh,
$2. Well, dude, I don't know how this works. I'm just using 5 because 5 is just a good number, right? But just as an example, if we hit, okay, guys, so hey guys, to fund we need $2,000. If we hit $3,000, we will give you a $1 coupon code. Or maybe $2,500. We'll give you a $1 coupon code for the next book. If we hit $3,000, that turns into a $2 coupon code for the next book. $3,500. So for every $500 we increase, the stretch goal is you get another dollar coupon added to your just because you backed it. Is that? I think
it's feasible.
Yeah,
I'm willing to try it.
I mean, up to a certain point, up to like like $15 off the next book, $10. I don't know how this works. You know better than I, Dojo. But
you don't want to go that far. $15 off of my book would be free.
Yeah. Well, no. What I'm saying is, I'm just using random numbers here.
So there's a reason I think that's feasible, and that is because you wouldn't be awarding 5 different coupon codes. There would be one coupon code, and it would have a single value depending on how far you got.
Correct.
So each time you get to the next stretch goal, the value of the coupon changes to the new value.
Yes.
Right. You're not offering them a $1 and then adding another 1 to make it 2. You're saying everyone who backed it now gets a $2 coupon instead.
Correct.
So yeah, that's a one coupon code. I could see that working.
I'm willing to try it.
The next book.
The first part of Kikomon's stretch goal, I don't think could work because you couldn't take away money. You couldn't give them a discount on something they've already pledged.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love the coupon code idea.
You could give them a discount on something they haven't done yet. And that could be interesting. I wonder if people, so if I buy this book, I get a discount on the next book up to $10 or whatever. Again, that's every individual
never
creator
gonna happen.
Would set that up. No, what I'm saying. Okay, but what if you get a creator out there that's like, it's because there are some out there. They're like, this is 160 pages, a graphic novel, big colors, huge. We're going all out. It's $45 for the book, right? But if we keep hitting them stretch goals every $500, the next book that we plan on doing, which is the same size, it goes from 45 to 35.
It's based on how much the total project cost versus
but
that's why I'm saying $10 is probably too much. I could see maybe $5 as a cap, but
here's the
going
thing,
below
though.
that,
well,
you're eating
it goes into the
total.
idea of being able to pay for the next project, right? But I don't know how that works. I'm just throwing out ideas.
So here's another thing. You are almost, not quite, but almost guaranteeing that they are return backers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If they're excited about getting a coupon to buy your next book, that means they're waiting for they're going to back your next book. How awesome is that?
And you physically send them the coupon in the book as like a bookmark. You could potentially do, because bookmarks can be cheap enough. But hey guys, here's your coupon in the form of a bookmark. Keep it with your book. That way you have it when the time is right.
Yeah, and then you just have to think about how then do they redeem the coupon. Now, I wouldn't want them to have to send it to me, but they could.
You'd put a code on the website. Hey guys, enter. You'd have to work with like Luke Stone from Fund My Comic and say, hey, they need to have a coupon code area, and they type in their coupon code and bling, you've redeemed this for.
But the thing is, the coupon code would have to be unique to the individual, because if I send Daniel the coupon and he really likes Royce and gives Royce the coupon code, couldn't Royce also type in that coupon code to get a discount that he didn't?
Well, they'd only be redeemable once, but I mean, you can get random coupon generators.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying that would be a step you'd have to take.
Yeah,
it depends on the medium. So if you're doing it through FMC, it would be something that we'd have to work with Luke on. But if you were doing it like Eric did on his personal website, you have more control over the amount of uses. So say, because I have that capacity, I'm starting to sell my books on my own website. So when you set up a coupon system or a discount code, you can set how many uses that discount code has before it's dead.
I hold on. I have an idea. When you sell your comic book, it has the QR code on the back.
Yeah.
When they click on, when they click on redeem my coupon, you would have to, because I've seen websites do this. You say redeem my coupon, it opens up the camera and it scans the QR code on the back of the book. Done.
Yeah, somebody who actually knows how to do that would have to set that up, though.
Yes, but it is doable. The technology exists already.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like that.
It's just a matter of implementation. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
that would be something that you would be better served doing on your own website as a crowdfund, like Eric July did with the pre-orders, as opposed to, say, trying to convince Stone to set up on an FMC.
Oh, look at that. Bazinga.
Excellent, Ray.
Hey, Ray, do you happen to be, probably not, I don't know if you're much of a Gilded user or if you like to be in various Discords or other Gildeds or anything like that, but Ray, both of these gentlemen are in my Dojo. You're in my Gilded, right?
No.
I don't remember. I thought you were. Ray, you can touch base with Mr. Daniel P. Riley here over there, and we'll get you in contact with Dojo. But there's been a lot of really good technical conversations tonight. Well, I am not on Discord. I mentioned Discord just because Gilded is the same as Discord. It's just less communist. But I actually, the funny thing is I've never actually been a part of any other server other than my own. And from what I am to understand is I lucked out. I did not buy the goat, Caro.
Oh, he's buying 4 goats.
No, I'm not buying 4 goats.
That's correct. He's buying 5 goats.
I'm a ball hair away from launching my own crowdfunding plugin. It's ready 99%. Oh,
really?
Okay.
Ray Haylock, please join my Gilded. Please
Or
touch
you
base.
can contact me directly on Twix.
Yeah, be
at
gay
Mr.
like
VP
that. Whatever.
Riley.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Caro, would you do me a favor? Please and thank you. Would you do the linkies to Mr. Daniel P. Riley? And would you also do the linkies to Dojo Kun Comics on Twitter? So that way Ray Haylock can get thank you so much, Caro. I think the coupon code thing has merit. I
agree.
Hey guys, because I mean, how easy? Hey guys, if we get enough backers, we're gonna start adding dollars off to the next book, to my next project for you. I
said I'm willing to try it. So when I set up the crowdfund for G Sedai issue 1, I will make that a stretch goal, and we'll test it.
Well, speaking of stretch goals, Kikomon for $5. Stretch goal number 1: authors used underwear.
Ew.
Stretch goals number 2: a lock of the author's hair. Oh God, this is getting weird.
Wait, now, are you talking about this author or the woman that wrote the trilogy? Because that might make a huge difference.
No, sir.
No, absolutely not, Kikomon. Don't mess with the locks,
you
man.
want it on the Twix before I spam it everywhere. No. I need to know. I don't know what Daniel P. Riley's tags are, and I don't know what Dojo Kun's tags are on Twitter. Would you share their respective Twitter tags in this chat, please?
At Dojo Kun Comics.
Ray Haylock can get in touch with them.
I did that myself.
Stock people. Yes, Carol, you're amazing. I should have just said that. Stretch goal 3: sacrifice a goat for Allah in the name of right. No, God,
well, you are buying 5, so I guess you
I'm
could
not
sacrifice
buying
1.
fucking goats.
That's correct.
So
you're buying 6.
He takes a while to understand how a pattern forms, doesn't he?
I'm going to turn into the Count from Sesame Street soon. 7 goats.
So, Royce, thanks for having me on.
Royce, it's just like Nuke. We're done.
Kikomon for $5. Industrial size digital printers are quite revolutionary. Can print on demand. You can do almost everything on those, but they're 1.5 mil entry.
Mm-hmm.
That's out of my price range.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1.5 mil just to enter the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Barriers to entry are high.
Extremely high.
I didn't know why. Oh, by the way, Carol, that conversation we were having earlier, when we go into the after show, I would love to send you a link to get in here. And then once Dojo pieces out, I'll talk with Caro and Daniel about this idea that I had. Dojo, nothing against you at all, but this is an idea I want to
dismissed.
Well, no, I'm still going to talk with you in the background. So, I'm not gonna just kick you off. There's this idea that I have, and I just want to see if it has merit. I think it does, and it's born from my frustration, deep-seated, horrible frustrations. Kikomon for $5. Look up HP Indigo Digital Presses, amazing machine. Crowdfund those and target indies. HP Indigo Digital Presses. Okay.
Yeah, I've looked at them.
This conversation, we might solve, I mean, maybe not tonight, but if all of us get pissed off enough, one of us will solve the printing problem.
Yeah, I've been working on it. I mean, I have the space in my basement to set the whole thing up. it's just a matter of the funding for it. But there's all sorts of moving parts involved. It would become a full-time job, which means there would be no new books for me.
Well,
and I'd have to totally redirect Whimsyland from what I'm currently doing to printing, because the hours are going to be crazy.
Network with the local high schools. Nope.
Whoa.
And talk to the local high schools about. I'm dead serious about this. For kids who are who are struggling with getting the credits and all that, a lot of places do work programs to trade work hours for credits earned in high school. Something like that. And if you went up to kids and it's like, hey guys, you want to print comic books and get credit for going to school? Things like that are there. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely despise the federal education system. Also, you'd probably want to have a warehouse with, not just your basement. Like, hey kids, you want to come?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, Royce is trying to set me up to get on a sex offender registry.
No. You need to do it more professionally.
Let's just cut this off.
What I'm saying is there are means and methods to do this and ways to get labor for less expensive that do trade off to something valuable to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And I
believe the Chinese have perfected that, and we don't like them very much.
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $20. I can't hit my button because it's not working. That's pissing me off.
Right. We'll clap. There you go.
My Gary button doesn't work anymore. I was so excited to get my Gary button and it doesn't work anymore. I'm a huge fan of milestone goals. Additionally, amenities being added to the campaign is always a plus in my book. Also, as an adult, I love reading mature content, but I also enjoy reading content I can read with my nephews. I feel like I'm in a similar place with what I like to read. I'm actually more... I don't really like reading the adult content so much. I actually, that's not my thing. I will. There are actually some books out there that look really, really cool that are definitely adult content that I do want to check out. But for the most part, man, I just like those good stories that just everybody can read. I do still disagree on adding the amenities and stuff like that. Just give me the book. But that's just me. That's just, again, I come from a very weird space. I don't even understand. MSK Content Entertainment. What is going on, Master Swag King? Stretch goal is to stretch out my wife. Sir, you don't have a wife. You have a body pillow. That's what you said the other night on your stream.
Calling the poor man out. Ouch.
Oh, dude, he was saying some weird stuff. Something about like the Saska sisters chaining him up and stuff. It got weird on the other night's live stream.
Oh, my.
Yeah. I mean, hey, a man can dream.
What are you doing over there, Swags?
Swag. I love Swags to death, dude. He's such a cool. I love him to death.
I had fun on this show.
Ram member for 12 months. Buy the goat, Royce. No.
7.
Dear 8 pounds, 6 ounces, baby Jesus.
I love what Herman Hunter said. He's like, thanks for being on, Dojo. Now get out.
Yeah.
Royce.
Hey, Dojo, you got a project that you're promoting?
I do. We may have mentioned it.
We might have mentioned it. Well, mention it one more time, good sir. Don't start the God fucking bless it. You guys have you guys have that Umbrella Guy's fucking web guy doing the goat shit. Damn it.
Yes.
This is going way too far.
7 goats.
I am terrified.
And
I am fucking terrified of the day that this shit starts popping up on larger streams. Oh, fuck. I shouldn't have said that. Damn it.
Yep. It'll get there. Now we're at 7 goats. Yep. We're at 7 goats, and it's time to support the shifter.
Yes. Lots of S's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll share the link.
All right.
I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? Why?
Why the fuck did I say that? Bud.
Yeah, that's how the channel gets big. I don't know, dude. I was over on Tug's channel. He was talking about he was saying something about you needing to buy your wife a goat, and I just popped over here and told you that Tug says I've been like, what the fuck? I do. Daniel.
Yes.
You have places.
I do. I have a place, whimsyland.org. That's where you can find everything, because now I have buttons at the top of my webpage that will send you everywhere to all of my things. That's my books, the merch shop, and the services that I provide, which is coaching, editing, blurb workshops, anything you could need to get your project from start to finish.
I realize I forgot something. But guys, by the way, go support Dojo. Links are down in the chat. Also support Daniel. Links are in the chat. I totally missed this earlier because Rumble does not save things the way it should, because Rumble needs a lot of work. Redoubt Productions for $2 on the Rumble side. Look, the baddies in the shifter are Yankees. I can so cosplay this. Hey, Daniel, you looking at the chat?
Not at the moment.
Ray
I'll look
Haylock?
at the chat now.
Go look at the chat. What he says.
Excellent. Fantastic. We'll talk.
Making friends. Oh. I can't believe Tug's web guy is here. That's fucking cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I usually don't actually shill for myself at all, and I'm kind of actually terrified right now to play the outro because I don't know how that's going to work.
It's not, but we'll talk through it like we always do, so it'll be fine.
I know how to make the outro work.
Do you want me to finish my drink and just go dun 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 dun?
Oh wait, I don't think I have the full outro. Damn it. Never mind. It's not going to work. And now, why is my computer so slow lately? All right. No, I usually don't show. So guys,
the shifter.
Here, hey. All right, sorry guys, I'm just too many things are running through my brain. Here's the deal. So, Sunday Coffee, for those of you who don't know, it's the live stream that I do every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Central. Generally, up until this point, Sunday Coffee has been me sitting down, reading all of the comments that all of you fantastic people leave on my videos and live streams every week. I'm going to figure out how to balance it out for the weeks that I get a lot of comments and the weeks that I get a little comments. This week's show is going to be very long. For one very good reason, I am welcoming another creator on for about 30 minutes to talk about the project. And this is Nerium.
Oh, nice.
This is Nerium Nawa, who did Bonds, the Cursed Child, and now they are doing Pumpkids. So yes. I am very, very excited. We scheduled this last week. I would love to have gotten them scheduled on Iron Age Nights, but timing just hasn't worked out. So this right here, Pumpkids, we are going to have Nerium Nawa here on Sunday Coffee, 11 a.m. Central this week to help promote this absolutely fantastic kid-friendly project. I hope everybody tunes in for that. And then as soon as we're done talking about that project, I will then begin to read all of your comments from the almost 200 plus comments that I've gotten on the channel this way. I think some of those are threads, so it's probably not 200. It's probably like 150, which doesn't help. It's going to be a long Sunday Coffee, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to be a good one. And I do hope that you guys join. And I don't know what to do now because I love playing my outro music, but apparently my outro music is fucked and I don't know what to do.
This is the stream that never ends.
It just keeps going and going and just hey, good night, everybody. It's come on, guys, music in the background.
I'm just gonna finish my drink here.
Yeah, I don't know. I want the music to play, but everybody's like, no, it's downstairs.
No music for you.
I hate this. I hate this. Good night, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I want my music so bad. Screw it. I don't care.
6 seconds of awkward silence.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it's bad, but it's kind of okay. Hey, it's a little audible. Bum, 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 bum. I'm helping. Bum, 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 bum. Anyways,
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong. You guys are fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. And I guess until next time, hopefully things are better. Good night, everybody. Cheers. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. Cheers, everybody.
yeah. Now I say good night, everybody. You got to do it right, even though the music isn't working.
And until next time, cheers, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.